Hi guys. I truly apologize for not doing a commentary today because I was busy with work. So instead, I'm going to do a rant on a SpongeBob episode to make it up. But don't worry, on Monday I'll do two commentaries. One with 7 users and one with at least one user I'll be featuring for my commentary videos. But for today, I'm gonna do a rant on another SpongeBob episode. So I hope you enjoy. Cue the intro, please. Hello, guys. I'm Jonathan's Media Shack here again. Today, here is my review slash rant on Fungus Among Us from season 5. So basically, what the plot is SpongeBob falling asleep and Gary becomes hungry, but he has no food. So he wakes up SpongeBob, and SpongeBob feeds Gary some organic snail food. Gary was then disgusted, and Gary would rather eat something else, like this contagious fungus on the floor, a sea fungus, I meant. SpongeBob's like, "What the fuck are you doing, Gary? You're not supposed to eat that shit. Now go on and enjoy your healthy food." So much to Gary's disgust, he was disgruntled and then he went and ate his food instead. Yeah. And and he tries to clean the ick off the floor after when Gary had ate it. But Patrick arrives and SpongeBob's like, "Uh-oh, that must be my friend." And Patrick realizes that when he point the fungus on SpongeBob's head, he looks at it and he's like, "SpongeBob, what the hell is that?" And SpongeBob knows that the fungus is on his head and he freaks out about it. Patrick then gives SpongeBob a really terrible advice of scratching his head like there's no tomorrow. After that plan fails, SpongeBob cleans it off of its head. He also tries not to scratch it, but it is completely itchy. But it only further spreads across his head. And of course, instead of being considerate, like staying home so no one will get infected, he instead goes to work at the Krusty Krab. He flicks off some contagious sea fungus on his nose, but it grows on the wall and grows back and grows even bigger on him. He tries scraping it off in his arm into the trash, but the same thing happens. And then SpongeBob tries his best to not scratch about it, and Squidward then comes to a point and he sees SpongeBob in his state, and Squidward freaks out about it afterwards, and SpongeBob wanted help, but Squidward did anything but help him. Instead of calling the hospital, he actually called the SWAT team. It is claimed that SpongeBob has the most severe case of ick yet, and when the team is carrying SpongeBob away in a cage, the contagious sea fungus flies off of him and lands on Squidward's head. And that's where it gets worse, guys, because like I told you, SpongeBob should have been more considerate, but no. He had to do it the wrong way by going it to the Krusty Krab with a very contagious fungus on his head. After and when Squidward does his job, he gives other people like a fungus, and he's like, "Oh my god, please tell me that's not the egg." And Squidward itches it when giving a Krabby Patty to the old man, and it gets onto him. Yeah. Meanwhile, the SWAT team has SpongeBob quarantined in his house with a bubble around him, and with a contagious fungus having taken a turn for the worse. Patrick then comes in and does very idiotic things that could pop. Of course, because they wanted to make Patrick so stupid about it, that he's so inconsiderate about what's going on. And before SpongeBob has him to stop, the two then partake in a game of pirate wrestling, which ends with Patrick destroying the bubble, of course, in which SpongeBob points out to him, and afterwards Patrick blows out another bubble around SpongeBob. And back at the Krusty Krab, Mr. Krabs is worried about SpongeBob not being here, and he asks Squidward for help, and he refuses to do so. And the contagious sea fungus is spreading like wildfire, and Squidward unknowingly spreads it all over the food as well, and Mr. Krabs is cooking, and the customers all get infected, of course. After Squidward sees he's infected, he announces this to where a mob forms to attack him. Mr. Krabs then got infected too, and he's like, "What the fuck is going on?" And then the health inspector, who snaps at Mr. Krabs for thinking everyone was healthy. Yeah, and then the health inspector thinks that everything is inadequate. And SpongeBob arrives in his bubble, having taken another turn for the worse. And especially how ugly SpongeBob looked. Yeah, it comes to a point where not only has it gone from bad to worse, SpongeBob also became ugly throughout the episode. Like, if you could see the image of it, you'll understand. It's ugly and disgusting. Like, really disgusting, isn't it, folks? Yeah, the way he went back to the Krusty Krab, he looked disgusting. Like, ugh. The health inspector points this out and instigates everyone to riot as Mr. Krabs blames Squidward that gave the customers all the contagious disease. But Squidward's like, "No, that was SpongeBob that infected the entire Krusty Krab." And then everyone, for once, believed in Squidward, and everyone gotten so mad at SpongeBob that, yeah, everyone prepares to attack SpongeBob for spreading the contagious sea fungus and for being a careless contaminator, due to the health inspector what he said. And SpongeBob cries icky tears in his bubble, which is of course gross. And from outside, Gary sees everything. SpongeBob notices everyone is attacking him, and Gary then comes spreading the egg and warns them, but it is too late. The egg, yeah, Gary comes after when the bubble exploded and everyone got more infected with this disease, I meant. And then Gary comes. Sorry about that. Then Gary comes and starts licking the contagious sea fungus off of Mr. Krabs. SpongeBob's like, "Gary, what the fuck are you doing? What did I said to you before, Gary?" But Mr. Krabs explains to SpongeBob that Gary's is supposed to eat the fungus as he is a bottom feeder, and that it's their job. Indeed, Gary has cured Mr. Krabs and quickly eats the fungus off of Squidward. killing him too. Seeing this, the customers all beg for Gary to help them as well, until Mr. Krabs comes with an easy solution. The episode ends with Gary de-icking the Bikini Bottomies by simply eating all the ick of their bodies for $5 for Mr. Krabs' profit as the episode ends. That's basically what the plot is. Sorry if I mess up the plot, guys, but I'll explain on the next part what I think about it.